They had the ability to bring health and success, but also death and destruction. With these sacred relics, we can travel back through history and explore the religions and cults associated with them. Whether Christianity, Islam, or Buddhism, all religions worship the remains of prophets, beatified figures, and saints. But these are not just the ordinary remains of extraordinary people. The world of sacred relics is surrounded by mystery. We will explore and investigate 10 of the most fascinating relics ever discovered. The Shrine of the Three Kings. Cologne in Germany is home to one of the biggest cathedrals in the world, the Cathedral of St. Peter. This cathedral is surrounded by legend, and it's been said that when the building falls, the world will come to an end. The altar of St. Peter's is decorated by the reliquary of three kings. The reliquary, one of the largest in the Western world, is said to exude a powerful energy and bring people closer to God. The gold-plated chest, made of silver and over 1,000 gems, is believed to hold the remains of the three kings. But who were these venerated men? According to the Gospel of Matthew, they were wise men called Magi. These wise men from Persia supposedly knew many secrets and could foretell the future. Do the remains in the reliquary really belong to the three kings? This question was partially answered when the reliquary was opened in 1864. It contained the remains of a young, middle-aged, and an elderly man. This corresponds to the image of the three kings on a mosaic in Ravenna, dating from the 6th century AD. However, the Shrine of the Three Kings is not important because of what it contains, but because of the message it brings. An inspiring, holy tale of three men who gave up everything to go on a pilgrimage, following a shining star to Bethlehem to see Jesus Christ. The Tilma of Our Lady of Guadalupe. The Tilma of Our Lady of Guadalupe was supposedly created after the Virgin Mary appeared to a peasant named Juan Diego in a vision and ordered him to pick roses and bring them to the Bishop of Mexico to prove her existence. When Diego emptied the roses out of his tilma or tunic, an image of the Virgin Mary appeared on the cloth. Inspired by the power of this image, 8 million Aztec people converted to Christianity, seeking a healing connection with God. One American woman was allegedly warned about an illness by the Virgin Mary and managed to recover from cancer by praying to the holy image. Her illness subsequently disappeared, but so did the image. We are very happy to be here to attend the Mass for the Virgin of Guadalupe from Ecuador, and we are devoted to the Virgin of Guadalupe. We're very happy. Within a few years of its creation, several fake versions of the tilma were made. But scientific research has eliminated the possibility that the tilma was restored by painters. The image must have been created all at once. In fact, on close examination, the image looks more like a photograph than a painting. By magnifying the image, researchers also discovered a number of smaller figures hidden in the eyes of the Virgin, perhaps a reflection of the scene of Diego's meeting with the Bishop of Mexico. Scientists and believers were so fascinated by this relic that they even made an ultrasound scan of part of the image, Mary's womb. Incredibly, they are said to have heard the beating of a heart. the holy foreskin. The foreskin is a fold of skin covering the glands of the penis, which Abraham, the forefather of the Jewish people, cut off as a sign of the pact between man and God. Jesus himself was said to be circumcised, and today his holy prepuce, or foreskin, is one of the strangest of all holy relics. Foreskin relics began appearing in Europe in the Middle Ages. Many foreskins were claimed to be that of Jesus, giving rise to the myth that Jesus' reproductive organs had the ability to grow back. It also inspired many mysterious cults. For example, in Antwerp, the Order of Jesus Foreskin was founded. This symbol of Jesus' innocence and human nature attracted many to Calcata Vecchia, near Rome, where they prayed to a relic of the foreskin in the belief that they would be miraculously healed. In 1983, this relic mysteriously disappeared, reportedly stolen by a priest. Some also speculate that it was stolen by Satanists, or even by agents of the Vatican. The Vatican had issued an edict in 1900 saying whoever worshipped the holy foreskin would be excommunicated. The reason for this is not clear, but what can be said for certain is that the holy foreskin is a controversial relic, and even inspired David Farley's documentary, The Quest for the Holy Foreskin. If it is indeed a true relic, does that mean that Jesus Christ could now be cloned? The Ark of the Covenant. Fire sprouted from it. It had the power to cleanse and strengthen, or burn and sap energy. If carried in front of an army, it guaranteed victory in every battle. It's not known where this mythical relic is located today, but according to biblical texts, it will one day unleash the apocalypse.
It is still the most holiest and respected object as it is. It is the most precious object in history. It's something that has been used by God for the communication of the people, between his people and himself.
The Ark of the Covenant is purportedly a gold-covered chest containing 2 stone tablets of the 10 Commandments, which Moses received from God on Mount Sinai. Around the year 1000 BC, King David had the Ark moved to Jerusalem. There, the Ark was placed in a specially constructed chamber in the first temple of Jerusalem. Several times throughout history, the Ark was stolen and returned. Did the Ark have the power of recognizing those who were not fit to use it? When the Philistines defeated Israel and acquired the Ark, they were punished by a series of catastrophes. Eventually, they returned it to Israel, but after the Babylonians attacked in the 6th century BC, the Ark was lost. There are several legends as to the Ark's whereabouts. According to some believers in Ethiopia, the Ark was brought to Aksum by Menelik I, the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba.
As a Christian, I'm very happy the Ark of the Covenant is in Aksum. And I'm very proud that I'm part of the population and Christian.
Another version of the legend claims that the Knights Templar brought the Ark to Europe, allegedly to the Rosslyn Chapel near Edinburgh in Scotland, where they also guarded the Holy Grail. It's even been speculated that the Ark was transported from Ethiopia to Israel by the Israeli Secret Service, Mossad. The mystery of the Ark still excites believers, mystical orders, archaeologists, and even filmmakers. In fact, the character Indiana Jones was inspired by a real man named Vendell Jones, an archaeologist who searched for the relic in Israel for 40 years, though without success. But according to the Bible, the Ark of the Covenant will be revealed to mankind on the Day of Judgment. The remains of Mary Magdalene. In 1191, the Bishop Hugh of Lincoln visited Fécamp Abbey in Normandy, France, where the remains of Mary Magdalene were kept. The bishop was so obsessed with the relic that he tried to steal part of it by biting off 2 fingers from the skeleton's hand. Historical sources quote him as saying, "If a little while ago I handled the sacred body of the Lord with my fingers in spite of my unworthiness, why should I not treat the bones of the saints in the same way?"
We can assume easily that the community that goes and follow Jesus sat in this beautiful building together with Miriam Magdalene, and they were studying together, praying together, which is unbelievable.
Mary Magdalene was a devoted follower of Jesus Christ, a penitent who lived to see his resurrection. She turned a new leaf and committed herself to love. It's been said that she preached the gospel in southern France, where angels appeared to her in the Saint-Baume cave. Angels took her to Saint-Maximin-Saint-Baume, where she eventually died. The Abbey of Fécamp, the cave at Saint-Baume, and the church of Saint-Maximin are not the only places that are linked to the worship of Mary Magdalene's relics, but they contain, respectively, her grave, her skull, and her left arm. There's one legend about Dominican monks from Lausanne who were attempting to perform exorcisms. The monk wielding the supposed arm of Mary Magdalene began the process of exorcism when the voice of the devil laughed at the fake remains he was holding aloft. There are also known cases when the veneration of Mary Magdalene's relics did bring success. For example, the inhabitants of the German city of Lübeck allegedly won a battle against the Danish army thanks to the relics. The hand of Mary Magdalene is carefully guarded by the monks of the Greek monastery Semonos Petras, who have witnessed several miracles. By using the relic and holy water, they were able to prevent swarms of locusts and a devastating fire. In 1945, this fire spread to several neighboring monasteries and a nearby forest, but not to the 2 monks wielding the relic. The flames were immediately extinguished when touched by the hand of Mary Magdalene. Buddha's tooth. When Siddhartha Gautama died in 543 BC, his body was cremated in the North Indian town of Kushinagar. All of it, that is, except for the left canine tooth. It's been said that Buddha's tooth has healing powers and can confer the divine right to rule. There are several places that claim to have the tooth. One is the Buddha Tooth Relic Temple in Singapore. The tooth kept in this temple was allegedly found by a Buddhist monk in 1980 in the ruins of a sanctuary in Myanmar. Believers hold the relic in great esteem and collected $45 million for the construction of this golden palace. Members of the Lu Mountain Temple in North America claim they've been in possession of Buddha's tooth since 2013, when it was given to them by a relic collector. This 2-inch long tooth is roughly 4 times longer than the tooth of an average person. They say it continues to grow, as does its power. Buddha's tooth is supposedly able to heal anyone who believes in its power. If a person's belief is in harmony, the tooth releases a beautiful aroma. Otherwise, it gives off an unpleasant smell.
The tooth symbolizes that the Buddha's teaching is still with us.
But the relic is most often mentioned in connection with the temple of Buddha's tooth in Kandy, Sri Lanka. Since the 4th century, the Sri Lankans have believed that this relic can boost one's magical and spiritual energy. The Buddha's tooth in Kandy has been celebrated in the Perahera festival since the 18th century. During the festival, people come to a chamber that houses a golden container which holds Buddha's tooth and bring offerings of lotus flowers and food. For the people of Sri Lanka, The tooth is a part of their identity. And this was known by the enemies of this Buddhist state. In 1998, the Tamil Tiger separatists placed a bomb in front of the temple. The building was damaged in the subsequent blast, but curiously, the tooth remained unscathed. The Lance of Longinus. The Lance of Longinus is the spear that belonged to the Roman legionnaire Longinus, which, according to the Gospels, he plunged into Jesus Christ, who was nailed to the cross. Several mighty rulers of the world have tried to gain possession of the relic, which is said to have supernatural power. The Roman Emperor Theodosius the Great defeated rebels thanks to the lance, but he died soon after, and the Roman Empire fell with him. The lance was then acquired by the German king Alaric, who captured Rome with its help. After a failed attempt to conquer Sicily, Alaric died. The Frankish king Charlemagne fought one victorious battle after another with the lance, and even took it to bed with him every night. When he dropped the lance after one fateful battle, it was a sign that tragedy and death was imminent. Even Adolf Hitler tried to get hold of the lance, which is now in the Hofburg in Vienna. The half-meter-long iron blade was broken in the past and mended with a golden plate. A nail from the cross of Christ was also placed inside the blade. However, many doubt the authenticity of the Lance of Longinus. A scientific examination in 2003 found that the only original material on the lance is the nail. In the past, several relics have been passed off as the Lance of Longinus. One of them is located in Echmiadzin, the ancient capital of Armenia. Church officials do not allow anyone to examine or photograph it. Another theory is that the Americans took it to the Pentagon after the liberation of Austria, leaving behind only a replica. Wherever the Lance of Longinus is, one thing is certain: whoever has it intends to keep it a secret. The remains of St. Peter. The remains of the deceased Pope Pius XI were stored in the catacombs of St. Peter's Basilica. During the excavations of the labyrinth, an ancient burial ground was discovered. 9 meters below the altar, a recess containing the supposed remains of St. Peter, the first pope, was uncovered. For a long time, Pope Pius XII kept the discovery secret. Without the work of the Italian archaeologist Margherita Guaduccia, the relic would not have been linked to St. Peter. On the order of Pius XII, she examined the catacombs. According to Old Chronicle, there's an inscription saying Petros Ani, here lies Peter, on the red wall. However, when Guaduccia examined the wall, she found no inscription. This was just one of the mysteries surrounding the finding. But she made another find, an inscription saying, "Peter, pray for the holy Christian men buried near your body." This led to the discovery of a mysterious wooden casket containing the supposed remains of St. Peter. This then became the subject of many scientific inquiries and speculation. In 1968, Pope Paul VI announced that the remains had been conclusively identified. The casket containing the bone fragments was finally displayed in St. Peter's Square in November 2013 by Pope Francis. The Shroud of Turin. The Shroud of Turin is probably the most discussed relic in the world. Allegedly, Jesus Christ himself was wrapped in it after his death. The imprint of a body and several bloody stains are visible on the shroud. Were they really caused by Jesus? No one's been able to say for certain. The linen shroud, more than 4 meters long and 1 meter wide, bears the name of the Italian city in which it has been carefully guarded since 1578. The outline of a human being, which could be seen from a distance of 5 meters, was noticed by the photographer Secondo Pia in 1898. But its origin is surrounded in mystery. Scientists, as well as forgery experts, are baffled by the fact that the imprint is only between 180 and 600 nanometers deep on the surface of the shroud. It also closely resembles the anatomy of a body that has been crucified. The theory that a painter forged the whole work has been rejected outright by scientists. In 1988, radiocarbon dating analysis was carried out on the shroud, showing that it dated from the 13th or 14th century. However, these findings were promptly disputed because the material tested was cut from a repaired portion of the cloth. The shroud, in fact, dates much further back. The Shroud of Turin is still the subject of much debate. But for the Church and believers, what matters most is the spiritual symbolism of the shroud, rather than its material authenticity. The Holy Grail. One legend has it that the Holy Grail is guarded by the wounded Fisher King, who waits for a fearless knight to take up the Grail and thus heal his wound, and with it the whole world. The Holy Grail has fascinated the Knights Templar, King Arthur's retinue, romantic poets, and conspiracy theorists. But what is the Holy Grail's legacy in the 21st century, when knights and their legends are a thing of the past? The Holy Grail is peculiar in that it may not be a material object, but a spiritual idea for mankind. From an esoteric and philosophical standpoint, the Holy Grail could be viewed as a facilitator of truth, leading to the path of wisdom hidden inside all of us. According to the Church, the Holy Grail denotes 3 separate things: the cup from which Jesus Christ drank during the Last Supper, the reliquary for the Shroud of Turin, or a chalice used during Mass. Christian words about love, Celtic myths about food, healing. Almost every time the Holy Grail is spoken of, paradise is mentioned in the same breath. Many people believe the Holy Grail is not so far away, but lies dormant in all our hearts. Relics are still surrounded by sacred respect, the faith of some and the doubt of others. The next episode of our mystery series will be no exception.